Okay, so here was my stupid mistake, and here's the do-over I told you guys about. This is the replacement to the 50 amp panel that I drove over with the Ram 1500 Limited. Told you guys about when I was about to hitch up to the Texas Pride dump trailer, and I was trying to figure out if I wanted to adjust my mirrors, and I drove around and didn't even realize that I hit it right there and destroyed it. Did no damage to this really inexpensive platform that I had constructed in about 10 minutes, but it definitely destroyed the panel and the frame and all of that. So I am going to take this panel off and replace it, or at least the mount and everything, and replace it with the brand new one that I ordered on Amazon. This was about 110, 15 bucks. So it was a costly repair, right? It's a costly mistake. It's definitely something that I regret doing, and when it happened, I had a few choice words that I spit out. But anyways, that's the plan for today. Hang tight, I'll be right back. Okay, so if you saw the video of the broken panel, you probably saw the video where the great folks over at eTrailer provided me this 80 watt panel, so 30 watts more powerful than the one that I smashed as a replacement, kind of as something to demonstrate on the channel. This one is super cool. It charged the batteries up much quicker. Let me kind of demonstrate. So, believe it or not, I actually have this thing set up wrong. I thought this is how I was supposed to set it up, but it's actually supposed to go the other way around, like this. Like that. And then you have some wing nuts right here, not right here, that you loosen like that, and this slides back like so. And when you get it at the angle you want, you tighten the wing nuts. And it's got really convenient little openings here at the bottom so you can stake it into the ground to keep the wind from blowing it away. That's really nice. But, you know, I have this really cool aux block that I'm not currently using. I'm just going to set it right there, and it should hold this thing in place just fine. So now that I have it oriented the right way, let me show you how it's doing on the batteries. So this has brought them up to 4 bars in a matter of a day from 2 bars, and it's maintaining it there. That's the key. The other panel would bring it up to 4 bars, but then if you did anything, it would instantly drop down to 3 bars. So this one at 30 additional watts is doing a better job. And this also has a solar charge controller on it as well, which is right here. This is showing that the batteries are half full, even though the monitor in here is showing that they're completely full. Actually above completely full, which doesn't make much sense, but there's good, or poor, good, better, and then that one's also better, which should probably be best. Anyways, yeah, it's doing a really, really good job, and it's charging them up just fine. I just put that there to prevent it from UV, but very, very happy with that. What we're gonna do with this other panel, the replacement, is we're actually gonna put it on the batteries in the tilt deck trailer. So I'm gonna have that one set up right here for the tilt deck trailer to maintain the charge on these batteries, because those are really low again. And it should work out well for me, but I'll at least be able to see how well it performs. Again, a little over 100 bucks. This one, about 300 and I think it was like 330, 340 bucks. So this is certainly more expensive. You are paying for certain things when you pay for this. For instance, you're getting 30 more watts. So to do an apples to apples comparison, you know, if you get a 50 watt panel at about 100 bucks, 30 watt panel by itself, a quality panel, a panel that's actually rated to be out in the sun, rated to have direct exposure, not one that you have to collapse and put away whenever it starts raining outside. All the components to this one and the other one are designed to be in the weather. So you can actually leave these out in inclement weather and not worry about rain destroying the controller, things like that. So that's a big part of it. It's more ruggedized, if that makes sense. Let me open this up real quick. This is that no-code genius that I installed right here, so I can kind of see what's going on here. I'm going to see if there's any power at all right now. I have no power whatsoever coming from these batteries. They are completely dead. And I don't know what could be causing the parasitic draw. I still need to put a disconnect on the negative terminals here, just so I'm not worrying about, you know, what could parasitically be pulling from them. But I have so many things disconnected here. The lights are both turned off, the winch is disabled. You know, I got to figure out what it is. I probably need to replace those batteries, to be honest. But let's see if that panel is going to be capable of charging this battery up from completely dead. Because the one I had that I crushed was able to charge these. So it's going to be interesting to see if it can bring these two completely dead batteries up from the dead. Okay, so as much as I'd like to salvage the batteries on both the dump trailer as well as my tilt deck trailer, I don't think it's going to happen. You know, the comparison I'm doing, and this is probably a big clarification, a lot of people believe I'm doing a comparison of this versus that to see which one is the better value in terms of charging capability. Well, you know, I'm just going to assume that they're both pretty accurate in terms of what they're capable of doing. This is a 50 watt panel, that's an 80 watt panel. They both seem to work, they both have charge controllers on them. What I'm more concerned about, and this isn't necessarily what I think most people thought, I'm more concerned about the durability of the panels. What they look like after they start getting dirty, what they look like after they've been out here for a while, as acorns and things fall on them, how resilient they are. You know, people are putting panels all over their homes right now, and I'm sure that's a big question they have. First hailstorm that comes through, inclement weather, how do they react? You know, this panel right here, though it seems clean, it stopped working. And this has really good reviews on Amazon. This worked fine for, I'm going to say, probably a year, but then all of a sudden it stopped working. So there's nothing coming out of this one anymore. This is the one that they included on the trailer. That one still works just fine. So, you know, whenever you look at cost, whenever you look at what solar panels cost to buy and to add to your trailer, you always have to consider how long are they going to last. So this one, like I said, it's a little over $100. This one's over $300. If this one only lasts 1 year before the panels get foggy, before it stops working, before the solar charge controller fails, well, then this is obviously the better value in the long run if it lasts 3 years, if it lasts longer than that. Now, some people may say, well, it's 3 times the price, so shouldn't it obviously last that much longer at least? And, you know, isn't it the equivalent? In my opinion, it's not. And let me give you a better example of this. Whenever you buy something like this, you're paying your money not just for the product, but you're paying for the solution. You're paying for what it's capable of doing. And when you lose that capability, oftentimes the frustration that goes along with not being able to lift the landing gear on your trailer, not being able to dump the bed of your dump trailer, that outweighs part of the cost. So having something that's dependable is oftentimes valued into the overall cost. It has its own value factor associated with it. So if you buy, let's say a hammer, here's a good example. You can go to Harbor Freight, you can pick up a hammer for $2 probably and likely get it free with a coupon, I don't know. But then you can go to Lowe's and pick up a hammer that costs you $25. They may look the same, they may appear to be the same, and they may work the same for the first 6 months. But beyond that, what ends up happening if that $2 hammer that you got pretty much for free ends up failing when you need it most, when you really need it to work for you? And that's how I feel about a lot of these products. It's not that I think one is going to outperform the other one when they're brand new in terms of, you know, reliability, but after a while, when you've used them for a while, how are they going to work? And there's a lot of sayings around when you get something that's super affordable, super inexpensive, and it fails on you, you know, the frustration and pain associated with that totally doesn't justify the low cost you paid for something. So again, the point of this isn't to see which one is more powerful. We obviously know the 80 watt panel is more powerful. The point of this is to see how it holds up out here. Right now it's going to be really cold, then it's going to get really hot. And if you don't know, when it gets 110 degrees down here in South Texas, it puts a hurting on just about anything. Cold weather hurts stuff as well, but when you talk about getting so hot that parts start to melt or PC boards start to fall apart, that's really when you know you're stressing something out. So the minute spring hits, summer hits, and we start getting some of those really hot days, we're going to put these things to the test and we're going to see just how well they work and which one truly lasts longer. It's great having a lower cost solution, less powerful, but with an MPPT controller on it. But if it doesn't last as long as something like this, and the opposite side of that is if this one gives out first, if I start having problems with this one, you know, then you obviously know, well, shoot, you know, I could have gotten a better value and more longevity out of something I paid a lot less for. Anyways, yeah, the batteries are pretty much shot. These things aren't really working. This one holds a charge for about a day once you unplug it, and it starts dropping off pretty quickly. I'm gonna say probably 2 days. Over here, yeah, the minute you unplug it, the next day it's dead. So I'm gonna remove all these batteries. I'll likely replace them with 2 deep cycle batteries each again, but for the meantime, I'm gonna go with these larger EverStart deep cycle batteries, just 1 per trailer. I think that'll be fine, especially considering the fact they'll be solar charging. And because I'm replacing both of them at the same time and they have a manufacturing date of 1/22, which means January 2022, that's pretty awesome. So we'll get kind of an apples to apples comparison over how these are performing with the solar charging versus what's in there currently. And because I'm not a commercial trailer user, I don't use these things multiple times a day to do, 5 or 6 dumps a day. It's not as important to me to have a battery system that's capable of lifting the deck up, 5 times a day. So for me, I think that the solar charger should bring these back up to full charge, anytime I need to use them or anytime I'm going to use the trailer. But we'll monitor that as well. Anyways, let's get the old batteries out, 4 of them, and replace them with these 2 new batteries. All right, and something else that I'll be adding are these really cool quick disconnects. So these are going to hopefully solve the problem moving forward. I'll still be able to keep the batteries charged with solar, but whenever I'm not using the trailer, I can simply turn one of these and just shut it off. I'm gonna put them on the negative terminals of both batteries in each trailer. So yeah, we'll be able to hopefully curtail any chance of a parasitic draw killing these batteries off like it did the last ones. And full disclosure, these trailers I've had for 1.5 years and 2 years. Dump trailer for 2 years, the tilt trailer for 1.5 years. So the batteries, they've been through a lot, especially that hard freeze. And if there was any parasitic draw, it probably really hurt the batteries when that happened. But yeah, we're gonna go ahead and get those batteries out, put these on the new batteries and get them reinstalled. Okay, so we got the batteries out. It's nice and clean inside of here other than the huge maze of wires. And some of these wires I actually hooked up, like with this. This is the controller for the winch. And then you're gonna have a charger, and then you're gonna have your wireless controller over here. Because there were 2 batteries, they had power wires kind of ran both ways. I'm gonna try to clean this up a little bit and see if I can make it look nicer considering we're only putting 1 battery back in here. But yeah, this wire right here, this is actually the long wire that connects to that, so I can use the winch whenever it's in its higher position or tilted position. But yeah, let's see what we can do here to clean some of this mess up. Some of this stuff is to solar panels and other connections, which I'm not sure if I'm going to use anymore. Maybe the small solar panel he put on here I'll probably use. But yeah, we're going to see how much of this stuff is needed and how much of it I can take out. All right, so I have these old batteries out. They kind of smell like sulfur, which means they're likely leaking. Same with the tilt deck trailer as well. And I'm going to be putting this battery in, which is a larger group size. This is a 29 DC. This has marine cranking amps of 845, whereas these are marine cranking amps of 735. So larger battery, larger capacity, and it's probably a good thing considering I'm swapping 2 batteries out for 1 inside of each trailer. And I like how everything is packaged. It's really nice. So I'm gonna have my screw-on terminals, my clamp-on terminals. It's got handles that are integrated into it as well. And of course, I'm gonna have my disconnect switch on here now so I can kill power so I don't have any chance of a parasitic draw whenever it's here in storage. Okay, so we have the spaghetti tied into the new single battery. The other one's been removed. You're probably asking why there's so many wires here, and it's because of a few things. First of all, you got your chassis ground, you got your negative ground coming from the pump and the accessories, you got one for the solar panel, one for the charger right here, and then one for the wireless connection as well as one for the winch. So that's why you see so many wires going into this. I don't think I'm missing any. Let's see, that's the one thing I want to make sure. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and disconnect it real quick so I can make sure that this works. So that's my new disconnect, and if I flip the trailer lift on, nothing's happening. I turn that off. Now I'm going to go ahead and tighten this down and flip this on. Perfect. So now when I'm done using the trailer, I can just disconnect this right here by loosening that, and there's no power going to it at all. I've disconnected everything from my ground connection, and it should prevent a parasitic draw from occurring. So 1 battery in here, very tight fit, but everything's working really well now, and now I have a fully charged battery. So what I'm going to do now is reconnect the solar charger to it. Okay, so we are connected back. Got my positive, negative right here, going to the charge controller right here, showing that I have a full battery. Really liking that. Everything is going really good so far. So everything works. Really happy about that. Okay, so we have everything reconnected. And I tighten, well, I'll leave that loose real quick just so I can verify. Nothing. I'm gonna tighten this down. Perfect. And I have my solar panel charging, red on positive, black on negative. And whenever I'm ready to go to the dump or whatever, I'll just disconnect the clips up here or disconnect it right here. But yeah, I don't need to keep these connected if I'm going to be using it. And then whenever it's sitting out here, all I have to do is loosen that. And now we don't have a parasitic draw anymore. So still charging because the solar panel is going directly to the positive and the negative. Anyways, next trailer on the list is the tilt deck trailer because those batteries are in worse condition than these batteries were in. We're going to return those for the core refund that they charged me. It was like $12. So really I could just return those two and do it. But I'm going to dispose of all these batteries because they're all bad. But yeah, it's going to be really interesting to see how these solar panels hold up, especially now that they're charging fresh, brand new batteries with a January build date. So that's really nice. Okay, so we're done. We have all 4 of these batteries removed, and these batteries on the tilt trailer are actually larger batteries than the ones that came out of the dump trailer. So these are 815 marine cranking amps, and these are 735. So yeah, these were a pretty large battery that I had to remove, roughly the same size as what I put in there. Looking over here, I got everything connected. I added some inline fuses and some things in here. This battery's gone. This is the only one that's here. Got my quick disconnect on here already in place. Got the solar charger already on. Nothing's working because I have it disconnected. I'm going to connect it right there. Again, nothing like the sound of a pump that's getting the power that it needs. Very, very cool. All my lighting works. Got my solar panel plugged in. So now we're really going to be able to see how the two of these compare in terms of longevity. Trying to figure out which one's going to be, you know, the longer lasting, better overall long-term investment, especially when summer hits and we can really see how these things are performing with UV light just bashing down on them, and, you know, just how long they're going to work. That's kind of the main thing. Reliability is factored into the cost, and that's what we're going to check out. Anyways, guys, 2 fresh batteries in. I'm going to return all these old batteries to Walmart to get a core exchange, or at least 2 of them. The other 2 I'll dispose of. But yeah, it's worked out really good. This is definitely a lot harder to swap the batteries out than the dump trailer was. But anyways, guys, I sure hope you've enjoyed this video. I'll put links to both of these in the description of this video, and we'll see how they perform. I really like that one comes complete. Everything you need, stand and all, so that definitely earns a big thumbs up. Anyways, guys, if you haven't had a chance, please take a moment, subscribe to my channel, give me a thumbs up, and we'll talk to you again very soon.